Welcome back to the channel. This one's going to be a bit of a story. Lately, I've seen this woman. She was like family relative, and lately, I mean, it's like a year ago, a year or two ago. And when she went back to her country, I'm not going to be extremely specific because they might be watching this video. There is some sides that I do respect. I respect her mum. That's the reason why I'm not. I don't want to be too rude because I respect her, and I respect her dad also. I respect that they treated us well when I was visiting their home as family relatives. But here I'm going to be talking about her and what I've seen. Right, so I've seen her on WhatsApp, and the first thing that she did when she finished her studies and went back is she changed her profile picture. Okay, she changed her profile picture. Big news, I know. Into something very casual. You know what I mean? Something very ordinary. It was a photo of her in a cafe. Good little posture. Got the legs folded, looking a bit professional, looking a bit nice. Got the smile on. Obviously, good to see that you're friendly if you smile. And they're playing a certain persona. They're playing a certain profile to the people that they are connecting with. And the reason why this is so important to mention, because there are people that are desperate. They are desperate for you to believe in this sort of painting that they painted of themselves, this profile that they're giving to you. And more so women than men, because I see less men that are trying to get attention. Less men. There is definitely some men, 100%. Like some men that goes to the gym, they want to get a lot of attention, yeah. And they're not good. I'm talking about loads of these women. They play a persona. I come from a background that is Turkish, Kurdish, and there's a lot of persona playing. There's a lot of pressure for both men and women in this case, in this country. There's a lot of pressure to be a certain way. There's a lot of pressure to be Muslim. There's a lot of pressure to, hear even. I won't get into the details, but even hear the what's it called? The prayers out loud in the city, like it's everywhere. There is a mosque where you can hear the prayers. No matter who you are, you're forced to listen to the prayers. And even when there is a drama that goes along, we expect money from people because it's the religion and it's the country that you live in. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure from the sports, even people. I don't want to call them sportsmen, but you get the point. Athletes in Turkey to not only represent really the country, but make the country more dominant than the other countries. It's almost like you're going to crush the rest of the other countries. It's not really like I'm going to win over you. It's you are irrelevant. You're going to see how irrelevant you are. You're nothing. I'm the best. That kind of attitude, that you don't respect your opponent, usually. And so in this case, there is a lot of trying to be successful, to be somebody that you're not. And that's what I saw. I saw this woman for about 2 years, something like that, since I was 21 to 23, let's say. And I saw a lot of fakeness, a lot of fakeness. She uses LinkedIn like it's a prayer book. You would think that LinkedIn is her religion. And guess what? All of those talks that she went to, it didn't really benefit her to get a job. They preached that she should have LinkedIn. She tried to convince me also, and she doesn't have a great job at all in law. What a surprise. She tried to use her looks in order to put it onto her CV and gain an advantage over the other candidates. That didn't work, did it? Because in Turkey you can do it, but you can't do it in the UK, really. And that kind of looking like you're someone equals you are someone doesn't really apply much into the UK, let's say, you know. They don't really care if you got a Rolex. They don't say, okay, we'll get you to the job now because you got the Rolex. You seem to be, you know, sharp. You're a sharp individual. We'll get you to the job. Nah, you know. You apply for HSBC. I've got my tie on. I've got my suit on. Got a nice Rolex watch. Maybe a fake one because I fake it to get the job. They're not going to get me in. And in Turkey, it's not like that. In Turkey, you can get your foot into the door if you know, if you look a certain way, if you try to play a certain persona. And so I thought this was funny. I thought this was funny that she was. They become desperate, but they don't want to look desperate. They're looking for dates, but they don't want to look like they are looking for dates. You know what I mean? They are not direct whatsoever. Especially these kinds of people, it's not so much the English also do this, but the Turks do it way more, and they just want to look. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how many bad things you're doing, as long as I look like I'm the victim and I'm the good one, then praise the Lord. It's not like that. Life is not like that. And so there will be a lot of simps, which I don't care about. These people are ruining the world with their creating more sick women, basically, that are chasing validation, attention, and that are deluded in thinking that a lot of guys are interested in them when simps are not. Most of them are not interested in them. They just want to be in bed with them. Very simple. So she comes from a fake persona, and she's not being transparent. And there's a lot of these Turks, a lot of the people from my background that are not transparent whatsoever, you know, even not with their partners, as unbelievable as that is. And they do it to get something. Like, they are so desperate. They are praying to God that they're able to get, maybe they want, you know, they have children and they want money, you know, they want benefits from it. So they kick the guy out strategically. Anything for benefits. I would know this because I was brought up in a family that just takes advantage of benefits like it's nothing. Like, seriously, 20 years of benefit abuse. And when my parents would talk about other Turks, they would also even mention them, you know, such as some guy got beaten up by the police, a little bit, you know, it was nothing. They were doing protests and they pushed him onto the ground. This guy got like a glass or something, beat himself up, went to the court and got awarded 100 grand, 150 grand. And back then, back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 100 grand was like life-changing. You know, that's probably £2 million now. You can get anything with 100 grand. It's ridiculous money now. So that's what they would idolize, you know. You got celebrities that other people would idolize. These people would idolize this, basically. To have leverage, to have power, to use, to abuse, you know. Not to, hopefully I can become famous. Hopefully I'm good at something. I'm really good at something. And a lot of people will see me and I'll become rich. That's all right, you know. That's a little bit, yeah, you're a bit selfish. You want to be getting attention. That's not really great. But at least you're trying to do something. And maybe you're really good at it. That's why you become famous, you know. They don't aim for that. They aim for cheap ways to get benefits. By doing nothing. By sitting down and getting paid. And they're very, very dishonest. They pretend to... I was living a shit life, and these people were going out. They were going out with some family relatives, going out to eat, spending £50, £30 back then. It was a lot of money, £30, £50. And they didn't care. They were like, oh yeah, no problem. We got lots of money, you know. I say this because when I was living with them, they would treat me like shit. compared to how they were treating the guests. They were treating the guests on average, most of the time, a lot better than me. A lot better. A lot better. If they would sleep in our house, they would get my best pillow. I would have 2 pillows, most likely. And they would, I'm not joking, just get my best pillow, the one that is most comfortable, give it to the guest. And so they would take from me and they would give it to the guest, and that's how they would be treated as good, as rewarding. Playing the fake persona that they're good people and they are giving when they're taking from me and giving from them in some cases. This definitely happened. I had a PSP back then. They made me give that to a family relative also because she's disabled. You know what I mean? That's not a valid excuse. Go and pay with your own money and gift it to her, you know? Don't gift my one to her. It's ridiculous. What else was there? Clothes. A lot of secretly gifted clothes, a lot of secretly gifted stuff to other people to make themselves look good. And there was a lot of sacrifice with time also. Lots of time spending with them. And they're this character. They play this persona. They're not actually this persona though, you know. At home, they're completely, radically different compared to how they set their profile picture, let's say on WhatsApp. Very different. Very different. She was dead, like really, you're dead serious that you're setting a profile picture, just, like everything's good, everything's really, like somebody's going to become friends with you and they're actually going to be like, yeah, this is a decent person. I mean, you might think like that for 6 months, but after the 6 months, it's going to break down. It's going to break down who you are right now, you know. Who you are right now matters way more than what you're imagining in your head that you are to another person. Because to that person, who you are right now is the current who you are. That's the brutal reality. And so they play this persona. They play this kind of... and maybe she broke up. Maybe she went back to Turkey and she broke up with her boyfriend at the time. And then she went back onto the market. That's what they always do also, that I want to mention here. A lot more women go back onto the market than men. I'll tell you that here, 100%. The current times that we are living in, whatever problems that they might be, I'm telling you, because it's still relevant in everyone's life, especially men's. And for other women too, you know, if you're not doing this, it's good for you to hear, it's good for you to acknowledge that there are these kind of psychotic women. The first thing that they do is they go onto the market. You know, they are brutal. They're brutal. You might have suffered something. You might have felt insecure about yourself. You might want to know yourself a bit better. Maybe your cooking's extremely bad. Maybe your hygiene's very bad. Maybe your personality is a bit shit. You know, you're thinking about how could people help me? How could people see me as a more generous person? I really want to be generous. If you're not in your own skin, it's a big problem. Big problem. Big problem. Doesn't matter job, doesn't matter friends, doesn't matter family, doesn't matter relationships. Big problem. You know, you're going to lose everyone. You are destined to lose everyone. You're going to attract a lot of people, but you're destined to lose all of it. Because you're not yourself. Guys, loads of guys, when they go through some trauma, women also, definitely women also, when they go through some trauma, these people will know what I'm talking about. They take steps back, they take 2 years back, they take, even if it's 5 years back, 10 years back, because they feel tired, they feel exhausted, annoyed, irritated. Some of us very, very angry. I feel anger inside of myself. Like I want to go boxing, you know, even though I'm not a boxing type of person. I started that at the gym. And it was very good to get my anger out. It was very good to use gym as a way to get my anger out instead of being angry at people. Instead of being angry that I didn't get what I want. It's just ridiculous. So these types of people, men and women, but more women in this case, they chase to get what they want. They are desperate. They will do anything to get what they want. And that is, it's a death sentence. It's like you need to find ways to be away from these people, to avoid them at all costs, Doesn't matter family relative or not. I might respect her mum and her dad. In this case I do, which I mentioned. But it does not mean whatsoever that I'm going to accept this woman. No way. Not even as a friend. 100% not as a friend. Because this person is not themselves. That is the most important thing. Like, there's no relationship that matters. In even a friendship, you need to be yourself, your own skin. And that means even if you're a bad person, just to say to the other person, like, I know I'm a bad person in these areas. In these areas, I'm fully aware. I'm not being 100% honest, but in these areas, I'm not a good person. I need to work on these. Make it clear. Just as long as that they are aware, it's their choice if they get hurt, If the person gets hurt and you already told them beforehand, I'm bad at this and this area, it's okay. It's not okay for you to do, but it's fine it's very good that you told them. They can't be mad at you. It's their fault. And a lot of people just dodging this, there's no problem. There's no accountability. There is no self-reflection. There is no, maybe I'm in the wrong here, What if you're in the wrong? There's no wondering. There is no sense of self. There's no being connected to the world. There's just chasing and chasing and chasing. If you want to know the most immature types of people that have not grown up, doesn't matter what age you are, you can be 50 years old, somebody that constantly chasing like that's it, just chasing anything. Non-stop chasing, non-stop. And they don't make it obvious. They don't make it obvious because probably most of them know that a lot of people won't accept them if it's obvious that they're not in their true skin, that they are chasing to be relevant. It's like me begging to be married, like, please, please, whatever you do, I want somebody to marry me, like, I need it, right? A lot of people are not going to be like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, let's get married, fantastic. Forget who you are, forget what you think, what your personality is, where you go and what you do, let's get married. So the predator doesn't try to look like the predator. The predator tries to look like a victim. There you go. I've said it in one sentence. The predator tries to look like they're the victim. That's how you know. Thank you.